record. We are on, I think. Right, so hello and welcome to episode 1 of this Stoneywood Dyce Cricket Club Lockdown Diaries. To start things off, we've gone for 2 current stars of the team, Jamie King and David Kidd. So, if anyone doesn't know, I'm Ewan Davidson, known to the cricketing population as KP. So, Kinger and Kiddo, how are we doing?
Yeah, good mate. Yeah.
How's lockdown?
Yeah, it's cool.
Is that right?
It is what it is.
How was Australia, Kinger?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so good. I came back tanned, as you can see. No, it was one of the best experiences of my life, and I'm definitely happy that I did it. But glad to be home.
Yeah, and Kiddo, how have you coped with a winter without seeing Kinger? More importantly,
it's been ace. No, I really enjoyed it. No,
we all know that.
He's phoned me every day. He phoned me every day I was in Australia, don't lie.
So we're going to do a bit of a teammates quiz to kick this lockdown stuff off. So how long have you known each other, for starters?
Too long.
Because it ages back from before Stoneywood Dyce, isn't it?
Yeah. It's from when James was playing for Huntley.
I think it must be about 10 years now.
10 years now. And Cali stuff together, isn't it? Back
when you came into the Cali squad for the first time, isn't it? As a wee
back in the day,
13-year-old Huntley lad or whatever.
Yeah, but must be about 10 years ago, maybe a decade now.
Gee whiz, that's a long time to know David Kidd.
Yeah.
That's a long time to know David Kidd.
That's very true.
I would have long since given up by now.
Okay, so we will start with a little Mr. and Mr. round to see how well you know each other. Now, I think this could be interesting because some tricky questions in here. So, we'll start off. Kinger, what is Kiddo's worst habit?
Now, if Kiddo doesn't say this, he's wrong. I just want to. But his worst habit, without doubt, is when we lose and the opposition kicks off on a song, he just loses it. That's his worst habit by absolute mile, like without doubt.
Kiddo?
Every winning song we are now going to have to listen to for the next 10 years is going to be that bit louder. Thanks to you, Jamie. So thank you for that.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Well, he went for being messy.
Oh, straight, that's wrong. He is, but
I'm so sorry.
It's the winning songs.
Okay, Kiddo, what's Kinger's worst habit?
I had no idea what he would say about himself, so I put that bloody laugh.
That's probably fair enough, actually. No,
it's like the Limmy sketch, that laugh.
I went for being too competitive, but the laugh is probably fair.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's an interesting one, actually, yeah. So, Kinger, Kiddo's biggest pet hate in life?
Okay, this was tough, but I reckon that he said when people take too long to choose a restaurant and order the food.
You're kind of on the right lines. It is.
You're not far off.
It's not far off that thought process.
Yeah,
you're not far off.
Slow walkers is what you went for.
Oh, see, I knew it would be something slow.
Something that people just take ages to do.
Yeah.
Just get out of my way or speed up. It's
yeah, that's fair.
And then for Kinger?
What did I put for Kinger? I put, as a pet hate here, sweet and savoury food.
Oh, to be fair, that is 100% true. I can't stand that. Everyone knows. I didn't put that, but I realised I should have put that.
Well, there you go. That's got to count as a point. That's a point.
That will be the answer. I'm going to change my answer to that.
What did you put?
I put not when I'm speaking, when a coach is speaking and people aren't listening. I can't stand that. I actually hate that.
I think a few of us are suspect of that.
But I've done that myself many times. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking a point for that because that's nonsense. I was right.
Okay, I think I would have got this one of Kiddo's, but King, what do you think his favourite food is?
It's steak, and if he doesn't say steak...
Yeah, I would have got that from all the Insta posts where he...
Yeah.
all his Insta posts, definitely steak.
Well done.
That's right.
Yeah, well done. Do love a steak.
Do love a steak. Yep. Okay, for Kinger?
Jamie's was tough, man. Jamie's was tough. I put pizza.
See, I had a big toss-up between pizza, and I actually spoke to my mum about this, and Mum was like, I would have gone pizza.
Mrs. King's teas.
And
Who makes King all of your food, so would know the
King said, it's pizza, and I went, no, I'm a steak boy as well, actually. And I put a steak.
Well.
Yeah.
That's good.
Love a steak.
So it's one
taking
nil
half
Kinger so
point.
far, I think. 1-0 Kinger so far. Now, Kiddo's answer to personality trait is maybe his weakness as well. There's a fine line. But what do you think, Kinger?
Well, so I was
I
quite
fully
nice
agree
actually.
with that. Fully agree.
I said he was always there for his mates. He was always loyal and just like he's just always there for you. Like if I needed to phone someone and I was going to die if he didn't answer, I'd phone Kiddo, 100%. And I know it's not the same in return because I patched him off yesterday. Kiddo called me and I didn't answer because I was having my tea.
I should probably unmute you on phone then if you're going to
Yeah.
die. So go on then. What is my personality trait? You put loyalty.
Loyalty.
I said always there for his mates, loyal.
I put confidence.
Yeah, confidence.
Yeah, okay. You are confident.
It's a good thing anyway. Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
For
I almost put
Jamie's,
that as worst habit as well, like, but
so Jamie, this is
That's what I'm
interesting.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It's also his worst trait.
Oh, weakness and a blessing for sure. For Jamie, for your best personality trait, I put competitiveness, and you kind of said it was one of your weaker areas earlier. So it's interesting. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Swings and roundabouts.
that is quite interesting actually, because competitiveness is good and bad, I suppose. It just depends who you use.
Yeah.
just
I
a
view it as a
viewpoint.
good thing as well. But I just put I'm just always happy, which is true. I just always am a positive, happy person, apart from when I'm bowling.
And again, I was going to put on your worst habits. I was going to put the 10-minute tantrum because you have a little 10 minutes and then you're back to being all happy again.
Only when I've got the ball in the hand. That's the only time.
KP, no quick single. That's all
Right,
all I remember from cricket seasons.
Stop creeping in, mate.
Okay, so on to cricket ones about each other. So I think Kinger's one's easier than Kiddo's.
I think it's easy, yeah.
What did you think, Kiddo? What did you think it was?
For the figures, bowling figures one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was easier. You actually put it in a post like 2 days ago.
Like yesterday.
It's 7 for 28 against our broth.
Oh, 7 for 27, I think.
One
it
off,
was.
yeah.
Ooh, I get 7 for though.
Well, except
Yeah.
Half a point.
When I triple captained myself.
triple
That's the
captain
main-
yourself.
That's the most
Yes,
important.
that was the other one.
And then
Uh,
Kiddo's one's harder.
See, I know. I'm fairly sure it was against Fort Hill when we both got a fifer.
No, I think that was like 5 for 40.
See, I put 5 for 17 again, but I know it's like 5 for something in the tens. I think. I'm not sure.
He's close. It's 5 for 18.
Oh,
And like I
come
say,
on.
I had to go to Ewan to find this out, but it was against Pennycook in 2013.
Was that your
geez.
first one?
That was my
For the
first one, yeah.
Or first one altogether?
First one for the first team, and I think it was my first one in general, but I might be wrong there.
Yeah. Was that Scottish Cup or something?
Mm.
Yeah.
Same day that Gilly and Stuart Coutser both hit hundreds opening the batting. We hammered them.
I remember hearing about that one, yeah.
When's the last time that we had 2 openers score a ton?
Not even
probably
that.
is the last
I think when's the last time we had a local scoring 100 in National League? Probably
That's it. They were. Oh, that was such a good game for us. That was about as good as a game could be. We scored over 300 and bowled them out for next to nothing in about an hour. It was a really good game.
That'll do.
Yeah. Okay. So favourite cricketer going up. Who was Jamie King's favourite cricketer going up?
Yeah, no, this is really tough because growing up, Jamie.
Yeah, growing up is different.
No.
It's between Chris Wilkes.
Growing up is what makes it hard. Right now, I'd be able to probably tell you, but growing up, I think I put James Anderson, and it could be right, but there could be a lot of other different answers.
See,
Jamie's a bit younger than me, as he likes to remind me. So James Anderson was kind of like, well, I mean, he's still playing right now, but he was big time then, big time.
I didn't actually get into cricket until I was about 12, 13. So it wasn't until like the 2010s that I actually got into cricket. So for me, it was Dale Steyn. I've loved Dale Steyn. I think he's the best bowler of our generation by an absolute mile.
Yeah.
So
I would not like to face
Dale
him.
Steyn.
Like
Fair enough.
Kiddo's one was interesting because
Kiddo's just weird because
I was thinking it was someone else because he always badgers on about this person, but he hasn't gone for that. So.
I'm sure Kiddo's is a batsman because he's weird.
Well, remember when I was growing up, I thought I could bat.
Yeah. So I always.
When I was younger, I was like, listen, I'm a batsman that now and then bowls. So.
For some reason, I got it in my head that it's like Alistair Cook or something. Some weird like Cookie or.
No, you're right, country. You went Flintoff.
House. A Flintoff. I almost said Flintoff. I actually
I've
wrote
read-
Flintoff and got rid of it.
I've read Brett Lee would have definitely been up there. Brett Lee was I was between Brett Lee and Flintoff, but the reason I eventually chose Flintoff is because I've read 3 cricket autobiographies in my life, and one of them was his, and I really enjoyed it. So that swung it for me.
He's just someone that you want to play cricket with, though. Like, I would love to have Flintoff on my team.
100%.
On the pitch
Cricket.
and off the pitch.
Have a drink with. I don't care. Do anything with.
I mean, he's sober now, Jamie, but
It's a
you can still
legend.
have some fun, yeah.
All
I
right.
don't think he's so
Well, you can watch you drink.
Okay, this was an interesting one. I thought you might have a few sneaky ones at the beginning for the first cricket sponsor. So yeah, I'm interested to see who you
So
went.
I said this to Chloe. I said, I think this is a pitfall for me. I think I've been caught out here. I've written Salix, and there's a nagging bit in my brain that there's one before Salix.
You're right.
Oh,
Am I right?
Yeah, I thought you had one before Salix as well.
I thought there was one before it. I'm happy with that.
Alex was the first. I mean, ever since I've known you, your first sponsor was Kookaburra, your first and only one, but you might have had ones before then. I don't know if Woodworm, you had a sponsor from them, I'm not sure.
No, I just loved all the kit. I just bought it all myself, like
That was
full
me.
price.
KP.
But Kookaburra was my first sponsor,
I've
but
got
I
Kookaburra.
owned
I put
lots of kit
Kookaburra
before it.
Yeah.
My first bat was a Grey Nichols Laser Strike Force, but there was no sponsorship involved in that.
Will not surprise me.
What happened to Woodworm? They used to have A stuff.
They were big.
used
They
to
were
be
huge.
KP and Flintoff in 05 Ashes. I remember that.
Ian Bell was with them as well.
Africans, and then they
Was
went
he?
downhill.
Was Bell with them? I thought Bell was like Slazenger or something rogue, and then he went to.
Sure, Bell had a little spell with them, and then they started having like West Indies number 10 batsmen and stuff like that. It just went off a cliff. It went awful.
So this could be an interesting one as well. Favorite away ground.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have the same answer.
Do you think?
I don't think they are.
I would not have gone for your one.
I think I know what Kiddo's is.
Go on then.
I think Kiddo's is Goldenacre. Harriet's.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So
Sure.
I put Harriet's for you as well, but it was a split. It was Harriet's or Arbroath.
Yeah, Arbroath.
So it was Arbroath. I went wrong.
Just for the teas, innit?
Should have trusted the gut just for the teams.
An hour less travel.
Yeah.
No, you only like Arbroath if you get the right end. If you don't get the right end, you hate Arbroath.
What do you mean if I get the right
That's
end?
a question I actually might ask, right? Add this one in. Which end do you both prefer bowling from?
Stonywood.
Stonywood.
Stoneywood.
So if the wind, take the wind out of the
Sorry, I
equation,
forgot.
because we know that Jamie decides.
Whichever way the wind's
Jamie
from.
picks his end every week. Jamie's end has changed from the start of the team talk to the coin toss. Jamie's end has changed twice while I played the game.
That's the
So
benefit.
go on. If the wind wasn't there, what's your end, Jamie?
Yeah, if the wind's
top end, the AECC end.
shorter boundary though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I always prefer coming down the hill, even though there's not really a hill.
I bowl better from the airplane, the airport end.
See, that's why it works well.
I've got better figures, consistently better figures from the airport end.
That is interesting. Okay, so that was, I don't even know the score, but
I won.
doesn't even matter.
Jamie's won that one. I think I got one right in the end. I think I got one right.
We'll go round 2, which is where the teammate stuff really starts. So just general teammates past and present. Obviously, Kinger's been here since 2013, and Kiddo's been here for donkeys. But in the senior side from about, in the main senior side from about what, 2007 maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So start off with, who was the best player you've ever played with at Stonywood?
Oh, that's not on the list.
Oh,
that's
that's
out of
so
nowhere.
tough.
Best player.
Come out of nowhere.
For everything. Can be.
Well, I'm gonna have to say there's so many that it could be, but I think the best player that I've played with, the player that played the best while I was playing with them, was Michael Leask for me. Like, I came in on the season where he just went utterly mental and then earned his move away, and he was just a freak. He was a freak that year.
Yeah. He
fair.
left 2014, was it? I think 2014 was his last year.
Yeah.
I just remember hearing about that Carlton game where you needed 250 to stay in the league. And you're like, we're not chasing
That's right.
250. And then
No,
we
I just remember
just
that.
bombed.
He hit like 80 or 90, smashed it all over the place.
Yeah.
Ali Gill got 50 that day as well.
Really
Proper gutsy 50 at the top of the order. And Leeski smoked it that day, to be fair. The other one for him was the one that I remember watching him play. I think he got 160 at Forfarshire away. And it was probably the best knock I've seen in local cricket. It was unbelievable.
Just one of those players.
Just turned it on now and then, and it was just insane, yeah.
His England thing was... Did you see his England highlights? It was 40 yesterday.
Yeah, when he gets caught out, me and Kiddo are sat right behind Jimmy Anderson.
We're in the video, yeah.
We were both standing there going, yeah, oh.
Who have you gone for, Kiddo?
I mean...
Yourself?
It's been... me. Confidence, biggest weakness. No, it's between Jan and Elton. Jan for consistency, Elton because I've seen him pull off miracles. Absolutely, like the Heriots hat trick that won a game. I've seen him pull off literal miracles in the middle of the order with the bat, and bowling is pretty special. But for consistency of performance, I'll say Jan.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you've played around the time where he played for Scotland as well. So that was when he.
I played when he was my debut was 2009 Drumpellier away, and I stood at fine leg watching the keeper catch the ball when Jan was bowling, thinking I just don't belong here.
I mean, he shot.
This is not the level of cricket I need to mention. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, hard to put those two players apart, really.
Tough picks.
Yeah.
Tough.
I mean, Elton's a worthy. Like, I wanted to say Elton as well. He was unreal.
I feel like he has to get a mention.
Yeah.
Just has to get a mention.
Next question will go for one to watch for the future. So I know Kinger had that obviously on Meet the Club yesterday. So I'm presuming you're going for the same.
Yeah, Jack Lamley. I think he's going to be
I think he's got the facilities definitely to be.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the best players, hopefully, to come out of our junior setup in a long time.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to be a serious player.
Definitely bat and ball.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is a tough question for me. I've done a lot of coaching with a lot of the kind of current juniors coming through. Jack is certainly one that I wrote down. I've got a little list that I put on for this question. Jack is on that list for sure. I put both listers as well, Stuart and Ailsa. It would be wrong to claim credit for that fully. So in the interests of anyone who might listen to this, a big shout out to Huntley as well for their early work. But fantastic cricket players.
A few years ago, I think, when I tried to say something like that, and
you didn't get the best reception when you said something, yeah. But no, fantastic cricket players, both of the listers. Ailsa obviously made a first team debut last season, 15 full Scotland caps. Stuart's got Scotland youth caps at the same age group as Jack does, and again had a decent run in the ones last season in the Strathmore, and in his first National League season had 2 or 3 games as well.
Yeah,
all three serious talents, seriously big futures if they can kind of live up to the potential and keep working hard.
Definitely, and it'd be interesting to see this season, if there is one, or next season, how they get on, because they are starting to get to that point now where they can.
Yeah. They're nearing the kind of come of age season, aren't they? If it isn't this one, it'll be in the next couple, that coming of age where they do something big on the first team stage and kind of announce their presence. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. But I mean, as I say, those 3 are all good. I mean, I'll say
Roscoe as
once
well.
again, it's hard to get past those 3.
Yeah.
But with the juniors,
that's it. Jamie's just said Ross as well. We're quite fortunate at Stonywood. There is a list of people that you could give a mention to. Roscoe, Bambi, George Robertson had a fantastic game last year, scored 80 odd, 90 odd, batted pretty much the entire innings, or in fact the whole innings, I think. So while they didn't make that top 3, definitely worth a mention as well.
Yeah. So right, we'll go on to another one that I didn't give you any prep for, because I thought about it. And I was thinking, I was like, I actually can't think of anyone who fills this void. But who's the best player for excuses after getting out?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I might nominate myself. Every ball is a japper. Every ball was in the
spat
slot.
up, swung away, nipped back.
Every ball was in the slot, and I've missed it. Like it was there to hit.
There is that famous day at Falkland that I said I was going over cover, and got
Oh
caught.
yeah,
Actually,
about that. I'm gonna go
Actually,
50 for 6.
I'm going to nominate Kiddo for this, but purely because the one game, the one game down. I think it potentially was my debut for Stonywood in the ones. We were at Watsonians and we were getting absolutely hammered, and we were playing against Henk and the Skulk when they moved. And I walked out to bat, and
I remember that. We were 120.
I walked out to bat, and Leesky, who was captain at the time, said, just try and last as long as possible. And I walk out to Kiddo, and Kiddo goes to me, we're going to be heroes here. We're going to bat for ages. Let's do this. We can bat the whole day. And then proceeds to run past the second ball, the Henk balls.
I ran so far as well.
Was that the 2016 season we got relegated?
It was Sean that was captain because
Sean
he
was
bollocked
captain,
me
sorry,
for it. He was furious with me after the game. Understandably, he was totally right to
we
be.
bowled them out 20, didn't we? And then I was like, oh, we're going to stay up here. We're going to beat Watsonians and stay up. And then
That's
Andy
it,
Mackay
yeah.
came on, absolute gap.
I was going to whack Andy Mackay everywhere as well, but no.
I ran so aggressively at Henk that ball that I basically shook his hand when I missed it. I was out picking him by a long way.
I remember
It was
speaking
a
to Man
speech
about that one late. The training must have been on the Tuesday, and he says, "You know the one thing I saw about the scorecard?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "David Kidd got stumped." And I was like, "Yeah."
Sprinted at it, full on sent the cavalry at that one.
No, right. So that's.
Hold on, I've got one more nomination for that. But it's not.
Only a 40-minute call, Jamie.
It's not getting out here. It's someone dropped a catch. Eddie Steinson dropped a catch that hit his face, and he's claimed that the sun was in his face, but the sun was the other side of him, and he broke his glasses and broke his nose. And he said the sun had got in his eyes, but the sun was behind him. So that's got to be up there.
I remember that one as well, actually.
That's a good one.
So one you have been prepped for. Who gets fined the most? Who has been fined the most over the years?
Yeah.
So
I've been around the team for a fair amount of time. Whether I was allowed to be, 18, when I was 18 or not, you're obviously allowed to sit in on fines when you're younger. Or I was in my day, you were allowed to sit in on fines if you weren't 18 yet and just kind of be part of the team, which I thought was a really good thing. So I've seen quite a lot. I've put either myself, because I tend to fall victim of quite a few fines, understandably, or George Ninan. I've seen George Ninan fined on many occasions for a plethora of different reasons. My favourite one was an away game we played in Ayr, and by the end of the trip home, George was fast asleep in the front of Jan's big blue minibus thing that he used to drive, drinking rum from a sippy cup from one of Jan's young children. So that was one of my favourite away trips, and George was the victim of a lot of fines that day.
Yeah, George was up there for me as well. I also put a bit more recently Jordan Squire. He's always getting fined.
Yes, absolutely.
But George was up there for me as well, yeah.
Jordan Squire, I always think about that 15, 16 seasons. He was just outstanding. He was just hilarious.
Kiddo, trial by fire for him, the lad.
When he ran into that fence at Perth, I don't think I've ever laughed as much on a cricket field in my life. I mean, that's
top two. That's a top two moment for sure.
So that's a good one, I suppose. Who the funniest teammate you've ever had? We've had a few funny guys over the years, I suppose. But
I put this in my Meet the Club thing, and I'll say it again. Mark Lamley is by far the funniest. He's just constantly making everyone laugh.
It's just a giggle, isn't it?
He's just constant hilarious.
That's it. He's got one of the nicest laughs ever, which is direct contrast to yours, which I can't stand.
Yeah, that's valid. Man, that's horrible.
He's got such a friendly laugh. No, I had so many people I wanted to put. Steve Barron was on the list. He was definitely on the list. I don't know if either of you will really remember or know Steve, but played in our twos for a while, and there's a famous video going about where they all did Incredible Hulk drinks, and Steve rips his shirt off Hulk style. Hilarious. In the end, I went for Brian Cregan because he's done some really funny stuff, and if he listens to this, which I doubt he will because he'll get bored of it by now, but if he listens to this all the way through, Brian will remember one game that we played in the grades where a guy came out to play against us wearing one pad, no gloves, no box, no helmet, nothing, wearing one pad and carrying a bat. And Brian Cregan, who bowled kind of like little medium pacers by that point, little left arm meds, about doubled his run up in one ball and just tried to hurt this man. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen because he was still bowling the same pace. But, and just in general around the club, he always had stories. He always had a laugh, and really, really funny guy.
Yeah, that's good. He was obviously up for the Legends Day, which was good. Right, next one, maybe a tricky one. Tough nut. So like, just I don't know, a general tough character, I suppose. Who do you think?
This is quite tough because I think everyone's quite like friendly and open and woman in Stonywood, but I just took it extremely literally and went, who's the toughest person in the club? And that can only be Matt Dalton, the absolute, the absolute machine that is Matt Dalton.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the only
looking wise anyway.
Yeah, as tough as you can be looking wise. So I just went for him because I think everyone's quite like
nice, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really have any tough nuts.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, I went for Mike Lowe, and again, it can be, you know, it might be a little bit of a surprise, but again, you know, I'm showing my age. I've been playing at Stonywood for like 16 years almost this year, I think it is, and he was someone who he's got a bit of a reputation, Jabba, for being someone that helps the juniors transition from juniors to seniors in terms of their attitude towards the game, towards training, towards their teammates, and if it's needed, he certainly does give tough love, and he's very good at kind of instilling.
I think we've all had a few Jabba.
We've all had a few tellings off.
I think you've had more than most, KP.
I've had a few over the years,
and that's it. And no, KP's had a few telling off from him. I've certainly had a few tellings off from him. I know that Michael Leask in his youth had a couple of Mike Lowe telling offs. We've all been victim of a few, so I've put him as the tough nut. But it comes from the best of places. So yeah,
it does, and it does improve you, definitely. That is a good one actually. I don't know who I would think of for that one, but that is a good one. So maybe more 18 plus again, but who's the best on a night out?
Yes,
I had an absolutely rogue answer for this one.
Say it.
Based purely on the one time that we went out with him.
I reckon I've got the same answer here.
It was Gareth Morgan.
Yes.
Gareth Morgan on the night out, and he's never going to listen to this, because I don't even know if he knows who we are anymore. But he was the funniest person ever. He warned us before the night out. He said, I'm a social grenade. I'm going to ruin this night out. And it turned out it was one of the best night outs I've ever had in my life.
That's it. I'm not gonna incriminate him, but yes, that night out there was some stories, which are he is a funny guy.
I think we saw him the next week, and when he got back home, he bought himself like a £500 bat.
Yeah, he went home from the way he tells that story is he went home from the night out with all of us and went, what a great bunch of guys, really enjoying playing cricket there. Went on Kookaburra's website and bought the top of the range Kahuna £500 immediate, like next day delivery, pre-knocked in, just bought it all, then went to bed and woke up, didn't know what he'd done. And it arrived.
I don't think he ever used it.
And also bought like a £350 Zeus from Sean. He just loved it.
Yeah.
He was what a man.
Okay,
great guy. I had the same guy on my list, but I also put Martin Reed because he's fantastic on a night out, hilarious.
He gets 3 drinks in and can't see.
In O'Neill's, it's a tradition now to have an O'Neill's section of every night out, and Martin always lives up to potential in there. And I put Ali Gill as well from the days when he was social convener. Ali threw a
I remember as a junior, his socials obviously didn't go out with him, but
you would have been young, but they transitioned into some big nights out a lot of the time. So threw a good party, did Ali.
Okay, we'll do 2 more in this category, and we'll go into scenarios. So the last kind of like funny one almost we'll go for is messiest. Who is the messiest person? So just maybe as a person generally, or if you've ever been into their flat or something.
See, this was the one where I haven't mentioned it overseas yet, but I went straight into overseas. Was Joshua Newton?
Yeah, no, that's the only name I put on the list. Only name.
He was horrifically messy. That cabin was in and out, and that was one of the years when I had to stay in the cabin a fair amount, and like just because the nights out coming from hunting and stuff. And oh my word, it was bad.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Only answer I could have put.
When Kiddo went, I've got overseas for one of the answers, definitely. I went, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh,
could only
really.
be.
I remember my
100%.
mum saying after because she went up to clean it with Lily, and she just said like, no.
Yeah, real bad.
Yeah, that was.
And Josh, you will listen to this. I know for a fact you'll listen
Yeah.
to this.
Josh will be
Shocking
on.
from you.
Okay, and then last one in this round. Who is the best captain you've had at Stonywood?
Oh.
Can be any, just one game even, or any, whatever. Who would you go for?
Kiddo, you going first? Or?
Yeah, geez, I've played under loads of captains at Stonywood. None, literally none. I can say no captain that's been bad. All in their own way, they've been good. I highlighted Mitchell most recently because inherited the team at a challenging time, just been relegated, had a lot of kind of rebuilding to do, and I think did it really well. Allowed players to develop and gave the opportunities to players to kind of shine through and let them fulfill potential in a lot of ways. I personally also gave a mention to George Ninen as well, because he gave me my first kind of, I'd played first team games before, but he gave me a little bit of a run for the first time in the first team and backed me when a few other captains perhaps wouldn't have. So from a personal point of view, I gave him a shout out there as well.
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah, I haven't had too many at Stonywood really.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking actually.
I had Jack down as well because he was obviously my captain when I was at Huntley and took me through as a proper junior. And then recently, when he's been captain, I think he's let me take more ownership on my own game, which has been really important. A lot of the other captains I've learned from Leesky, Kurtzer, even Kev Davies in the twos, the one who was in the twos, they helped me learn, grow a lot. But I think the way that Jack's helped me figure out my own game and what I need to do personally to get better, I think for me that's what's helped me recently. So I'm going to say Jack.
I think Kiddo's definitely right with the. Obviously, Sean I think had a tough team as well.
I would say there's not a.
Looking back, I think Sean had a really tough period. Obviously, you lose Elton and Leesky, and you're like, I think
Sean had a pretty thankless task, didn't
he? And then Jack as well. Obviously, he was given captaincy to relegated 3 games in the National League.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Both of them did a really good job. I think Jack especially to get.
Sean had a team of players that weren't ready to be playing at National League.
You're right. That's exactly it. And yeah I mean,
and he himself, Sean consistently played well in a team that he was leading that was playing badly, that Jamie says they weren't ready, we weren't ready.
Yeah.
And Sean consistently showed us the way is probably a fair way to say it actually. He played well in a time where we just weren't. So he definitely should make that list too.
I always
helped me massively.
I remember speaking to someone, what was it, maybe last season, and like if we had you two and a few others abilities now in 2016, we would have been absolutely fine, because Braden and Matt were good players. Sean was a really good player. Jack, Akalak. If we just had these guys older, we'd have been absolutely fine.
And I've heard you say it a few times, Ewan, but it's as horrible as it was at the time and as frustrating as it was at the time, being relegated did wonders for that first team.
Absolutely.
Really, really helped us individually and as a collective push on and achieve higher levels, I think.
And it's just a shame that this year now is what's
happened. Is when you'd like to see if it paid off more. But
yeah, we spoke about it earlier, but yeah. No, but it's good. Yeah, that's good answers. Right, so this is an interesting one. Scenario round.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to have any sneaky ones here because I couldn't really think of any other scenarios that wouldn't be like exactly the same. So we'll start with the first one. First of all, 5 off the last over. You're defending Scottish Cup final. Who do you want bowling?
Selfishly, I'd like myself.
I knew this was coming.
But I did not say that.
Do you know?
I said there's only one person it can be, and that's Jan.
Yeah.
It can only be Jan, in my opinion.
But I say King Arms, you're going to say yourself, and then Gordon Gowdy whacks you down the ground.
I'd want to do it myself, but Jan.
I picked Elton because, like I say, Jan for consistency of performance, Elton for the moment, the special moment, the Heriots game. As much as we took a hat trick to win it, I think they needed less than 10 when he was bowling.
Yeah, you won by like 6 runs, yeah.
They needed
Yeah, we
7.
needed less than 10, and he finished it with a hat trick. So that, I mean, they needed 6. You're giving me 5 to defend. I'm gonna, Elton, 100% Elton.
Yeah, I mean, both good answers, as you say. I mean, you can't really.
Can't be. It has to be one of them.
Has to be one of them. So, similar thing. 6 off the last ball. Who do you want at the crease facing?
Leaskey.
You picked Leaskey.
Michael Leaskey.
Yeah,
Away.
that is a fair one. I picked Jan. Just hit straight, hit hard.
Yeah.
He would have just picked his spot before the bowler had even ran in, probably, and he would have belted it. So
either of them were at the crease.
One of my favourite things about Jan is when he just tells you what's going to happen with the next ball. Remember SMRH, when Gareth and Kiddo were batting SMRH, Gareth swept 1 for 4, then he went, he's going to reverse sweep him for 4, and I was like, no, he's not. Reverse sweep 4. He's going to go over cover for 4. What was the next shot? Over cover for 4. Like, how do you know this?
He knows a lot about cricket.
Oh, he always says he studies the game. But
that's the thing as well. I reckon in that vein, he would have a pretty good idea of where about the bowler was going to try and bowl to him.
Absolutely.
With 6 to win off 1, he'd have known where he wanted the ball and where he wanted to put it, and I would back him to pull it off more often than not. So
I think that's the biggest trick. He knows what's going to happen with the bowler. Okay, 3 to win. We're bowling. Say Kinger's bowling. Ball goes miles in the sky.
Oh, I never prepped this one. I forgot this one.
Miles in the sky. Gloomy day. People's Park. Bit of rain. Who do you want under that ball to win the game?
I've put down 2 answers. One genuine answer, and I don't know why, but I'd have full faith in Sean Coetzer. If Sean Coetzer was underneath it, I'm taking it. I'm celebrating.
Maybe not sure he could cover the ground.
And no, who's your joke answer?
The second one was Michael Hood, just from that one catch, of Munsey,
the miracle ball at Grange,
where the ball went higher than I've ever seen a ball, and everyone just looked at everyone, and then he goes, catch.
Munsey hit me for 6 vertically, and it came back down. I picked. I'm going to pick Jack Mitchell.
He had safe hands.
I don't think I've ever seen him drop one really a high one. I've seen him drop a couple at slip that were tough, but I don't think I've ever seen him drop a high ball.
He might pop his shoulder out if he looks too high, though.
No, you're right. Actually, I never even thought of that. But Jack Mitchell's hands are pretty good.
Yeah, Jack's pretty
strong.
Okay, so kind of similar maybe to the bowl off one, but a bowl off 5 bowlers to hit the stumps. Who are you going for? Kiddo, start us off maybe.
I picked Sean Coetzer, George Ninan, Elton, Jan, and very dangerously, I picked Jamie as well. Very dangerously, I picked Jamie to hit a Yorker at the end. So that's my 5.
That's interesting.
I went Jan, Elton, myself, Sean, and then I went Mike Lowe, because Mike Lowe doesn't spin it, so it'll just go straight on.
Up and down it.
Up and down. I'm backing Mike in.
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting, I suppose. I think spinners probably are the way forward, is it? Or someone like Elton or Jan.
Someone like that. Robin Taylor might make the list. Just Robin Taylor.
Tell you what, I would back Robin Taylor. I've never seen him.
100%. Oh, that's a serious answer.
Ball on the spot. Okay, second last one. 10 for 4, chasing, say, 240. I don't know. Who do you want 2 players of the crease, past and present?
Well,
I picked 1 present, 1 past.
So did I.
Jamie, you go first, mate.
Well, there's only one man for the crisis. We all know who it is, Capes.
Absolutely.
Got to be yourself, KP.
I'd get it up to 60 off like 30 overs, and then I'd let someone else finish the job, but I'd be there.
I said KP and Elton.
Oh, okay. You went for a similar idea to me, I think. You went for someone to kind of absorb the pressure and someone to counterpunch at the other end, I think. I went similar idea. I had Maka as my kind of just absorb the pressure.
He almost needs a
score tough runs. I mean, he's the only person I know that has ever really grafted a 50 at Falkland. Jamie, I know you almost got 50 at Falkland. You didn't quite get there. But Maka's 50 at Falkland was in National League, I think, as well. And it was a graft, real graft. And he loves that. That's his kind of game. He loves being in the reeds, as it were, and fighting out of it. Yeah. And at the other end, I put Gordon Gowdy for the counter punch because, I mean, we've seen it on. I've seen it on both sides. All 3 of us, have unfortunately seen it on the wrong side.
Yeah.
He counter punches very well, very maturely as well. He's aggressive, but kind of with tactical as well. So yeah, no, he was the counter puncher to
Yeah.
I
Maka's
didn't name
Don't like
him.
playing against him.
Brigadier
I didn't name him as any of my answers because I'm still angry about it last
in
year.
form of protest. No, I picked him and Maka.
You're right, though. I remember Rhino always saying Maka, when he played at Aki's, he almost needed a crisis. If there wasn't a crisis, it's like,
He just loves it. He loves
crisis, like switch on almost. But
He's someone who does perform well, not under pressure. That's not the right way to say it. But when the team is up against it, he'll come out and do something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then last one, end things off with a super over. Who do you want as your 2 batsmen?
So I picked one local and one overseas for this.
Okay.
So I went for my local to be Leesky
Yeah.
because he's the kind of 365. You know, he'll
365.
360. He invents degrees now. He invents degrees. He does hit the ball everywhere and hard as well. So I picked him as my local. And my overseas that I had in with him is Braden, Braden could come in, and this is where, you know, Liam Lindsay was a very classy player, one of the more classy overseas batsmen I've seen. And as he loved telling us, he hit a lot of sixes. That's fine. But Braden could come in, take guard, and put it over a clubhouse, and then do it again next ball. So with 6 balls, him and Leesky for me were the 2.
You could definitely tell Braden was like special when he came, but he was just inconsistent, was he? And obviously now he's got that consistency.
Really kicked on, yeah.
That 100 against Forfarshire, I always remember, and that 20 over games.
That's it. I thought about Henk as well. I think I definitely give mention to Henk and Raddy purely because I remember, Jamie, you might well still have been at Huntly when this happened, but we played a T20 at Huntly where we walked out, took guard first ball and put it in the school at Huntly.
I think I was actually playing for Stoneywood.
Were you at Dice that? Yeah. But he put the ball miles, first ball, but Braden won out over Henk, so I went Braden and Leesky.
It's not
That's
not
probably fair
super overpaying, is it?
Yeah. I decided to not go an overseas. If I was going for an overseas, Braden would have been up there. Having seen him in Australia, he's so much fitter now as well. He's lost a load of weight. He's going to be a serious cricketer for the Renegades and Victoria. He's going to be unreal. I went for Leesky, Michael Lees. Seriously, just whack it everywhere. He probably wouldn't let the other person face a ball. Let's be honest. But if it was another person, I put Jan, just because I remember the T20 against it was at Arbroath, but it was against Forfarshire, and like the first 4 balls, Jan put like over the clubhouse in Arbroath. Remember that he slog swept.
Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in the T20. He just went mental.
Yeah, slog swept Ditchman or something.
Ditchman, yeah, he just slog swept him over the Arbroath clubhouse. Like,
what was the one? Was it Braden hit Elton over the clubhouse?
Yeah, just flicked.
Yeah, and then he got caught next ball trying to do it again.
That was the biggest.
Because they changed the ball.
I've ever seen.
They changed the ball because they couldn't find the last one.
That was
because he put it too far.
Okay, I mean that is us. So thanks very much for coming on, guys. I'm sure we'll have you on soon.
That's all right. Thanks for having us.
Yep. We'll see you soon for our best 11 with David Lamb and Mike Lowe.